Millions of years ago, long before cities, roads, or modern technology existed, the world was a place of mystery and danger. Vast forests stretched beyond the horizon. Enormous animals roamed the land, and survival depended on courage, skill, and instinct. Every day was a battle against nature. Every night brought new threats hidden in the darkness. Deep within a dense prehistoric jungle lived a small tribe of hunters. They had survived for generations by working together, hunting animals, and respecting the dangers of the wild. The elders often told stories about creatures so large and powerful that even the bravest hunters feared them. Most young members of the tribe believed these stories were legends meant to scare children. One morning, as the sun rose through the thick jungle canopy, a group of hunters set out in search of food. Armed with stone-tipped spears and primitive tools, they followed animal tracks through the forest. The air was warm and humid, and strange sounds echoed from every direction. As they moved deeper into unfamiliar territory, one hunter suddenly stopped. In the soft mud before him was a trail unlike anything he had ever seen. The mark was enormous, far larger than the footprint of any animal they knew. The hunters gathered around the strange trail. Some believed it belonged to a giant predator. Others thought it might have been left by a creature from the old legends. Curiosity soon overcame fear, and they decided to follow it. The trail led them through tangled vines, across shallow streams, and into a dark region of the jungle rarely visited by humans. The trees grew taller here, blocking much of the sunlight. The atmosphere felt different, almost as if the forest itself was warning them to turn back. Hours later, they reached a massive cave hidden behind ancient rock formations. The entrance was so large that several mammoths could have walked through it side by side. A cold wind flowed from within. The hunters hesitated. One of them, the world millions of years ago, was a place unlike anything we know today. Endless jungles covered vast landscapes. Giant animals ruled the wilderness, and early humans struggled every day to survive. There were no cities, no farms, and no safe shelters. Every sunrise brought new opportunities, but every sunset brought new dangers. In one remote corner of this ancient world lived a tribe of prehistoric hunters. They were strong, resourceful, and brave. Survival depended on teamwork. The tribe hunted together, traveled together, and protected one another from predators that lurked beyond the safety of their campfires. Among the tribe was a young hunter named Caro. Unlike many others, Caro was curious about the unknown. He often listened closely to the stories told by the elders. They spoke of giant creatures that once dominated the forests. Most tribe members considered these tales myths, but Caro believed there was truth hidden within them. One morning, before the sun had fully risen, a hunting party left the village in search of food. Caro joined the group, carrying a stone spear and a small axe made from sharpened rock. The jungle was unusually quiet. No birdsang. No monkeys called from the trees. Even the wind seemed absent. The hunters exchanged nervous glances. Something felt wrong. As they moved deeper into the forest, one hunter noticed strange marks pressed into the muddy ground. They were not footprints, but long, winding impressions stretching between the trees. The hunters gathered around them. The trail was enormous. Whatever had created it was larger than any creature they had ever encountered. Caro felt excitement growing inside him. This was something new, something mysterious. The hunting party decided to follow the trail. For hours they traveled through thick vegetation. Massive ferns brushed against their bodies. Ancient trees towered overhead. Strange insects buzzed through the humid air. Eventually, the trail led them to a region of the jungle land. Millions of years ago, the earth was a wild and unforgiving place. Giant forests covered the land from horizon to horizon. Massive predators roamed freely, and survival was never guaranteed. Early humans lived in small tribes, relying on intelligence, courage, and teamwork to overcome the dangers around them. In a vast prehistoric jungle, a tribe of hunters lived near a river surrounded by dense vegetation. Their lives were simple but difficult. Every day, they searched for food, collected water, and defended themselves from deadly animals. The tribe's oldest elder often shared stories around the evening fire. One tale stood above all others. It spoke of a gigantic serpent that slept beneath the jungle. According to the legend, the creature was so enormous that it could swallow giant animals whole. Most tribe members laughed at the story. They believed it was simply an old myth. But the elder always warned them. Some legends survive because they are true. No one realized how soon those words would be tested. One hot morning, a group of experienced hunters prepared for a long hunting expedition. Food supplies were running low, and the tribe needed fresh meat. The hunters left before sunrise. Mist covered the jungle floor. The air felt heavy. As they traveled deeper into the wilderness, strange signs began to appear. Large animals normally common in the area were nowhere to be seen. The forest was unusually silent. Even birds seemed afraid to sing. One hunter pointed toward the ground. A massive trail stretched through the mud. It looked as though a giant tree trunk had been dragged across the earth. The hunters examined the strange mark carefully. It was fresh. Whatever had made it could not be far away. Some wanted to turn back immediately. Others believed a large animal nearby might provide valuable food. Curiosity won. The group followed the trail. Hour after hour, they traveled through untouched jungle. The path eventually led to a remote valley surrounded by two. Millions of years ago, Earth was a land of giants. Towering forests stretched endlessly across the landscape. Rivers carved their way through untouched wilderness, and enormous creatures ruled the natural world. Early humans were not masters of nature. They were survivors, constantly fighting for food, shelter, and safety. Deep within one of these ancient jungles lived a tribe of prehistoric hunters. They had survived for generations by understanding the land around them. They respected every animal, every river, and every shadow hidden beneath the trees. Yet there was one story that frightened even the bravest hunters. The elders spoke of a giant serpent that slept beneath the jungle. According to legend, the creature was older than any living human. It was said to be so large that entire animals disappeared within its jaws. Many believe the story was nothing more than a myth. But myths often begin with truth. One morning, the tribe awoke to strange signs. The forest was unusually silent. No birds sang. No monkeys swung through the trees. Even the insects seemed quieter than normal. The hunters noticed the change immediately. Nature was warning them, but nobody knew why. As food supplies became limited, a group of skilled hunters prepared for a long expedition. Their goal was simple: track large prey and return with enough food to feed the tribe. The journey began before sunrise. Mist drifted across the jungle floor. The hunters carried stone spears, wooden clubs, and sharpened knives made from rock. Hours passed as they traveled deeper into unfamiliar territory. Then one hunter stopped suddenly. He pointed toward the ground. A strange trail cut through the mud. The mark was enormous. It wasn't a footprint. It looked more like a giant trench stretching between the trees. The hunters followed it carefully. Soon they found broken bushes, crushed plants, small trees knocked flat. Something massive had passed through the area. The trail continued for miles. Curiosity,